Story 1. My wife always says, you used to get excited about a new movie or a game and go to shows and be in the pit and all that. Now you get excited if you see a nice pepper grinder that you like that's on sale. She's not wrong, though. I do enjoy some nice kitchen equipment now. Story 2. I don't feel excited to celebrate my birthday. I would rather spend the money on important matters than on food and decorations. I'll just eat my favorite ice cream. Story 3. Feeling unable to get caught up in the magic of any experience in the same way I could when younger. The adult brain feels like it is stuck always trying to understand things and deciding it understands them, no longer being able to get caught up in more vivid and extravagant perceptions of reality. Story 4. I'm 28. That means I'm at that age where older people will tell me I'm young, yet everyone under 20 will call me old. What makes me feel old? I've got a list. 2019 feels like last year. I yell at people when they set foot in my front yard. I discuss calling the police with my girlfriend when I hear neighbors still being loud after 10 o'clock. My girlfriend pointed out I'm starting to get wrinkles close to my eyes. My beard contains 5 gray hairs. 2000s rock like Linkin Park or Green Day is played on classic rock radio stations. We're almost closer to 2050 than 2000. My girlfriend caught me last night playing solitaire on my iPad while listening to a Paul McCartney concert. Story 5. What makes me feel the oldest is seeing how technology has changed. I remember when having a flip phone was the coolest thing and spending afternoons blowing on Super Nintendo cartridges to make them work better. Now, everything is so fast and digital that I feel like I belong to another era. Story 6. What really makes me feel old is seeing how much technology has advanced. I remember when, if you wanted to watch your favorite show, you had to be in front of the television at the exact time because if you missed it, there was no going back. Nowadays, everything is on demand with streaming and endless marathons. And don't even get me started when I hear someone say that 1990s music is old. That really hits hard. Story 7. The worst is realizing I did something and I can't remember anything about it. When I was younger, I would occasionally forget things like everyone does. But once I realized what I had done, I would remember doing it. Now, I have periods where no matter how hard I concentrate and no matter how much evidence proves I did the thing, I have zero memory of doing it. Story 8. I play beer league hockey. A few years back, there was this kid on the other team who had skills but was easy to predict and check. So anytime he was on the ice at the same time as me, I would frustrate him by checking him just when he thought he was home free. In the third period, he got too annoyed with me and slashed me in the back of the knees while skating to his bench. After I got up, I skated after him and told him to stop being a little whiny kid who can't handle being checked. His comeback, "Well, you're old." That hurt. Laughing out loud. Story 9. I'm not as interested in drama as I used to be. Some of my coworkers are 15 or more years younger than me. I look much younger than I am, and they quickly assume I'm only slightly older. They start telling me about who's dating whom, who broke up with whom, who the cheaters are, and things that happened when they went to a concert, expressing surprise that I didn't go. I won't even get into their reaction when I say I don't know who the artists are. Story 10. My kids, they're constant reminders. No, really. My teenager asked me if toys had been invented when I was little, or if I had to play with sticks and rocks. I'm 36. Story 11. I like staying at home now. I used to love going out almost every night, but then one day, I just got bored with it. I get tired easily and feel sleepy early. Story 12. Old is a mindset. But to answer your question, nothing. I am 66 and I have not been in a better place, mood, mentality, or sense of success and purpose. Story 13. I used to play football pretty much every day of the week in my teens and in my early 20s. I was pretty good too. Now my feet get sore when I play more than once, and I'm too slow even though I'm fit. Story 14. I don't have family to watch grow old. My parents died in their late 40s. I'm going on 40 now. What makes me feel old is going on the TMZ app and not knowing who anyone is except when they announce a celebrity who has passed away, the older ones. I feel old when nobody even acknowledges me on the street. I feel invisible. I turn on the radio, and the oldie stations used to play 50s and 60s music when I was a kid. Now they're playing the artists I grew up with, 80s and 90s Nirvana, REM, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Story 15. What makes me feel old is when I hear someone call the music I grew up with retro. Nothing quite like realizing you're officially older than someone's nostalgia. Story 16. When I'm working with a person who had never seen a cassette, and when I tell people in their 20s that we used to roll car windows down, they think I'm joking. Story 17. Politics. Just go ahead and forget about it. When you want to vote, you promise the earth, but once in power, they really couldn't care less. New leaders just blame the old regime for financial problems in policy. No plans seem to ever last more than a couple of years, so no long-term thinking. I'm totally fed up with it. Story 18. Ihe timedio. If I sleep in one position for too long, I can't turn my neck right, or my knee will give out on our stairs the next day. People are asking what we did on long car rides before we all had cell phones, and I remember clearly. I have to ask my teenager what certain new words mean. 2005 feels like yesterday, and in a few months it's 20 years ago. I could go on. Story 19. When I see the sign for the birth date you have to be born after in order to buy alcohol or tobacco. The mid-2000s was 21 years ago. Also, when I see a star National Football League or National Basketball Association player and they post his date of birth and he was born in 2005. Story 20. Two things, mainly. The first was watching my parents grow older and pass away last year. It made me realize, as a friend likes to say, we only have so many summers left. I'm in my late 50s, retiring soon, and about to enter the next chapter in life. I still feel pretty young at heart, but at the same time, I feel older. It's this unavoidable realization. On a lighter note, the other thing that makes me feel old is watching the Grammy or Emmy Awards and realizing I don't know a lot of the nominees. I know a lot about alternative music and can hold my own on musical trivia up until the 1990s, but after that, I wouldn't be a good Jeopardy contestant. Story 21. Lots of things. Recently, the realization of how many actual adults I associate with who either can't actually remember September 11th, 2001. I'm an old woman who spends a lot of time on virtual reality chat. Most of the people in the instances I frequent are in their 20s. Story 22. I put on my Kamala hat and my light-filtering glasses and went outside to take a selfie and realized that not only did I forget my lipstick, I forgot my teeth. Story 23. Other people my age. How are you 35 and have wasted away so fast? I know job, families, responsibilities, etc., but also lifestyles, sedentary habits, substance abuse, smoking, etc. Holy shit. Story 24. Everything, especially having a deadly heart disease, makes me feel like I'm 80 to 85 years old. Not physically, as I almost feel normal, but the outlook is that my health is going to deteriorate to 0 within 5 years. So I feel like 85. Story 25. Watching sports. Athletes I once looked up to are retiring, and the new faces who might be generational talents like the players I grew up watching is a really sharp slap in the face that time truly waits for no one. Story 26. Over the last year, I, a 63-year-old female, have noticed how old I feel. I ache all over. I do not have stamina anymore. I have arthritis in my hands and knees. I get winded going upstairs. Watching my 3 granddaughters, aged 1, 3, and 6, wears me out. I am a bartender and server, and I am starting to look forward to retirement. Story 27. When I look in the mirror, I notice progressively more gray hair than the last time I looked. Although compared to other men, I am happy I still have a full head of hair at 32. Story 28. Technology doesn't come as intuitively to me as it used to. It's not a major thing, but every once in a while I have to take a minute to figure out a new piece of technology, program, or application, whereas I used to just naturally make it happen. I feel like my dad when I was teaching him how to double-click on the computer. Laughing out loud. Story 29. Remembering how far away the past is getting. I remember when Slenderman games and Amnesia were popular in 2012, 12 years ago. I remember buying chocolate with a friend during a class trip at a C1000 supermarket. The last C1000 supermarket closed in 2015, 9 years ago. I still remember most of the layout of my old primary school. In 2016, that building was demolished long after I had moved from that school to high school. I remember in 2015, on the Fallout 4 release day, when I visited Game Mania in Old Hoop Carthage, which is completely gone now. Game Mania has gone defunct as well. The start of the coronavirus epidemic is also very far away now in 2020. I can't believe 4 years have gone by so fast. Felt like yesterday. And I can't really identify with kids these days. Like most adults, I don't like those kids riding fat bikes. Those things are way too big and dangerous. And this skibbity toilet meme, whatever it is, makes teens laugh but not me. Story 30. My face looks older now. I lost that plump look from collagen under the skin. I have some jowls. As an Asian, it is disappointing. But honestly, at 42, still no white hair and no crow's feet or fine lines yet. I never understood what the fuss was when I was younger. I'm not looking forward to lines or wrinkles. I'm almost dreading it. Story 31. I work in film. I feel old when we are working on a sequel and the young ones say they saw the first movie in 2nd grade. I worked on that first movie. Story 32. Seeing people my age, thinking for a second, they look old, immediately followed by, oh my gosh, I am old as well, because usually I still feel young mentally. Story 33. I'm 40. My 6-year-old calls my childhood the olden days. When my 10-year-old was younger and I was talking about my childhood, she asked, is that when the world was black and white? Story 34. American Idiot is 20 years old. I saw Green Day a few weeks ago, and they performed it all the way through, and that was beyond amazing, but every time I'm reminded of the reason, I take psychic damage. I also just saw posters for Newfound Glory and Bowling for Soup doing 20th anniversary tours and was like, holy moly. I was in college when all those came out, and I'm not loving this reminder. Story 35. Watching the change in the United States. In my youth, we were still a vibrant country with dreams. A dedicated, hardworking individual could make a good life. Now, the cards are too stacked against the middle class. We've gone from a nation that fed the world and helped rebuild Europe after World War II to a debtor nation. And even though there's been infighting in the legislative branches since our country's inception, there's never been such vitriol as there is now. I would love to see a country with some modicum of bipartisanship for the good of the country. And social media is only causing a greater divide in the country, creating an echo chamber for the radicals on both sides of the aisle. I feel like I'm caught in a replay of the HBO series Rome as I watch the United States devolve from a democracy into fascism or a kleptocracy. The old movie Mr. Smith Goes to Washington would be seen as a comedy if remade today. No one would believe in its premise. Story 36. Also, fear of physical activity. I was the most active kid. Did karate, always doing cartwheels on grass, ran around all over, rode bikes, climbed trees, all of that fun stuff. Now I have irrational and semi-rational fears of chipping my teeth, rolling my ankles, being paralyzed in a freak accident. I miss being fearless and having fun. I'm still young, just too aware of random danger. It's exhausting,